Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Deal with D and J. Co-host Jacob Pereira. Alongside me is DJ Money McCatherine. DJ, how are we feeling today, evening, afternoon, morning, whenever you're listening? How are we?
I'm doing pretty good, whether it's the morning, the evening, the afternoon, or when anybody is listening. I'm going and doing pretty good. Office on in the background, getting some chores done today, but we're just happy to be here. We're happy to be awake, listening, alive. What about you? How are you doing?
Doing good. Surviving back-to-back homestands. 140 field temp last Saturday down here in Waco, Texas. Noon kickoff. I have a PSA. Actually, not even a public service announcement. It's more of a plea. Can we stop doing 11 a.m. kicks in Texas, please? It's tough. It's very rough. It's hard for a lot of people to be out there. The students all left, at halftime. We played Samford, which, everybody has their one game, right? But man, it was hot. So it's a little too hot to be out there. But we survived. We did it anyways. But now we get Arizona State this week. We get Arizona State tomorrow. Big matchup on Fox, night game. So I'm pumped. Really pumped about it.
There you go. Love that for you. What do you believe that it was more so the heat or the matchup that made these students leave early?
Heat. Like the thing about McLean is that if it's a noon game, everyone except the 300s are pretty much in the sun most of the game. Literally most of our fans stood in the concourse before reaching their seats because it was so hot.
Really?
Yeah, just because Texas sun's no joke, right? And then we're on AstroTurf, which ridiculous, right? Should be natural grass. If it's natural grass, it's not nearly as hot. I will say that.
Well, it's not plastic, but sitting there wanting to melt,
Yeah.
trying to melt, conducting heat.
It was ridiculous. Probably people listening to this, if anyone from Baylor is listening, sorry, it's my opinion, and it's
grass.
Please switch to grass. It'd be appreciated on every front, especially player safety as well. Players love natural grass, but it's and it's weird too because the Baylor line was quite small. Everything else happened. It was just hot, man. Luckily, I think I had 3 liquid IVs. I had 4 applesauces, couple candies, just quick sugars and electrolytes. Now I spread the electrolytes out from 5:30 till 3:30 in the afternoon. You're doing a lot, but it's just tough on the skin too. Your skin gets dry. It was just so hot. It's so bright. I can't imagine how those players feel either. Granted, their benches are iced cold, pumping AC, but can't imagine it's too enjoyable to be out on that field at times.
You went to a Missouri game. I saw your Missouri Tigers play a couple weeks ago. Now, give us a quick rundown. I want to know how it was, what the atmosphere was like.
I mean, it was amazing. It was Mizzou, Kansas, for those listening, because we took a 2 weeks little week off. Apologies, everyone. That's the reason why, is because I lost my voice. I couldn't speak.
Yeah.
And the day I thought I could speak, I couldn't. So that was tough, very tough. And
border war, right?
Border war. They call it the border showdown, but it's the border war. Rooted back in the Civil War. We did not. Mizzou looked rough. Down 21-6. We fight all the way back to tie it at half. And, the defense came up strong. Big things happened, right? And bada bing, bada boom. We're in this game. We're fighting for everything. And bam. We're out of nowhere. We took the lead on a 4th-and-1 play on Norfleet's touchdown, which was fantastic. I'm losing my voice. Jalen Daniels, man, he is doing everything he can for this Kansas team, and they got nothing over there for him. It is a shame. He was so good. He was really good in this game. Bo looked really good. He was really steady with it. And then, Jamal Roberts hits a outside run where you're like, oh, we get a first down, we're good. Instead, he breaks the game open and takes it back 40 yards for a touchdown, and I'm losing it. I'm going bananas. I'm hugging everyone and their mother. It was a great environment. It was amazing. It's always FKU in this household, and it's always nice to get a win.
Well, there you go. What was it like watching that kid go for the field goal for tuition money and then him turn around and kick towards the Kansas sideline?
So I have two feelings, right? As a fan, I'm like, yeah, that's stick it to him. But I'm in a marketing world, and that's part of my job is to pick those contestants. And that's honestly my worst nightmare is somebody going rogue, doing something like that, right?
Right.
But I mean, it added to the environment. It was great. But again, for me, I'm two-folded. On the one hand, it's awesome. On the other hand, that's kind of my job, and that gives me nightmares. That keeps me up at night.
Well, I mean, what you just take a look at the kid and make sure he doesn't have any profanity written on him, right? And I mean, that's all that you could do as somebody trying to pick that kid, right? Like you can't psycho eval them. You can't just ask him any question under the sun, right?
No, I mean, you can't ask the kid to lift his shirt up. Like,
Right.
you can't. There's nothing you can do. So, but it was a cool moment. It was a cool moment. But like, so where my seats are, I don't have a video board. I don't have a big Jumbotron. So I couldn't see what his shirt said. I didn't get it until after the fact. Until I saw the video of, yeah.
What did it say?
It said FKU on it.
Okay.
But I couldn't see it because I don't have. They're doing construction on the other side of the stadium. So like the video board's above me and I can't see it.
Gotcha. Dang. Wow.
Well, DJ, I guess without further ado here, since we're already talking college football here, let's dive into it here. I think I think where we need to start, DJ, is the AP Top 25 poll. I think there's a lot of issues now and the validation that's coming from it of these people who don't even watch the games, who are not watching the games.
Do they even have to look at the games to put these teams in these rankings for some of them?
I mean, listen, the one girl last week got destroyed, Haley Sawyer. And listen, she's doing her job, but don't look at us and be like, well, there's a lot of rhyme and reason and some, like, I'm not going to go into how I pick my top 25. And it's like, girl, we see your top 25. It was bad. It was bad. I'll tell you that for free. I'll pull up her top 25 here. If I can freaking find her on the thing.
She wasn't in the 4 that I sent you, or that was in the post.
No, she's not in the post, but I mean, she moved up Florida 2 spots after they just lost to USF. I remember the last week.
Yeah.
And then this week we got Brenna Green. Yeah, we're gonna call him out by name here, and so be it, right? If we get blacklisted, Brenna Green moves South Carolina up on after losing to Vanderbilt. They lost by 24 to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
She moved them up. She moved up Mississippi State to 15th over Ole Miss. She has Auburn and Missouri ranked, which I can respect, and everything else is all right here. Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, Georgia, Miami, but she moved up South Carolina after losing. Koki, right.
Where did they lose at? Did they lose at home too?
Yeah. Who? South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Yeah. Got smoked
they were at
home,
right?
Got smoked. They have LSU as the number 8 team in the country. 0-2 Notre Dame is number 10 in the country.
That's insane.
Alabama is ahead of Florida State, who Florida State has beaten them head-to-head by 13. I lost the link. That's not good. We're stadium pulse is high. We're okay. We're okay. We're riding. Auburn's all the way up to 15, which, you can make an argument for them after beating an on-the-road Baylor team. Vanderbilt's 19, which, yeah, I'd rank them that high after you go to South Carolina and smoke them. They have Texas Tech in the top 10 all the way up to 6. TCU and
Whoa.
Tulane. Arizona State's still ranked. Jamal St. Cyr has Notre Dame 0-2, ranked number 16 in the country. Has South Carolina ranked and Vanderbilt unranked. Has Clemson ranked and Georgia Tech unranked after Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt beat both their ranked opponents. BYU is just in the top 10. This is Tom Murphy, by the way. BYU
And ahead of Florida State.
And ahead of Florida State. USC's in here, which you can, and they're in the 20s. You can make an argument. Notre Dame's ranked as an 0-2 team. Vanderbilt's 16th.
That's all right.
They have LSU. They have LSU as the 6th team in the country.
Yeah, that's a bad one. That's a bad look.
Mason Young has South Carolina ranked number 15. Vanderbilt unranked. Georgia Tech is ranked, but they still have Notre Dame ranked as well. And for some odd reason, Iowa State's the number 9 team in the country. So, I guess my problem is I feel like we have uninformed voters.
Right.
Voting on this thing. For personally, South Carolina shouldn't even be ranked. They played nobody to, they played no one to open the year. You're going to be like, well, they played Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just lost to Old Dominion, my friend. We're not gonna do that argument, right? You get smoked at home to Vanderbilt, which Vanderbilt's a good team, but you got smoked at home. Granted, you lose Sellers, but you should be unranked. Clemson, honestly, you should be unranked too. Did Clemson end up being unranked?
I mean,
I don't know. I have the AP top 25 in front of me, so we'll have a.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Clemson ended up being unranked, but the fact that some of these people are voting Clemson and South Carolina to stay in the rankings is wild to me, and the fact Notre Dame is still in here. I guess the only logic you can give on the Notre Dame front is that they lost on the road to Miami and then lost in a heartbreaker against A&M at home. I guess that's the only logic.
Yeah,
by a collective score.
One possession.
Yeah,
I believe,
collective score of 4.
Yeah. So I'm not
that one I can live with.
Most upset about it because I think they would beat a lot of these other teams that are unranked and on the border right there. I would pick Notre Dame to win, so I can reason with that. But I think at this point you got to keep them at 25. But I'm not gonna raise hell over 24. But it's disgraceful to the sport to have these. I think we should be offended as people who watch the sport, study the sport, give our opinions on the sport, and these people get to lay out this slander to the game, if you will, just this horrible onslaught of poor voting, and they get to keep a job. They don't have to reason for their vote, and it's all public.
Well, and
right?
then
And then the college football world and ESPN and Fox Sports, they just look at these people and they're like, yes, we're using them to dictate the rankings of our team. And I just think it is the most ridiculous thing.
And the one girl, she goes, in the grand scheme of it, it doesn't matter. Yeah, girl, it does matter. Because these rankings will determine the college football playoff. We're all perceiving these teams based on a ranking system. It's not like college basketball where we can schedule these games and they can play 30 games. We can figure it out plus a March Madness. Any team, we're just assuming that these are the top 10 based off your eyes. You are informing us, but now in today's age, we have the ability to rewatch games and rewatch the tape and go quad box on a Saturday and get gritty. Like, we're informed. And if you're not, you're mocking the game that we love. And it's embarrassing, especially for those that contribute themselves as sports journalism. Like, listen, if you want to be a USC beat writer, go do that. You shouldn't have an AP vote. I feel like the AP, listen, I got a crazy idea here, DJ.
Let me hear it.
I feel like the AP vote. I feel like the AP vote should be like Family Feud. We asked 100 people who the top 25 teams are. Here are your answers.
Right.
I feel like that would be hilarious.
Just random people.
Just random. Like you and I could get it 1 week.
Where do you think your team should be ranked right now? Right now. And then just poll them? Or are you talking about just like in downtown Orlando? Or
anyone. It can be the dude on the corner. It can be your 8-year-old cousin, and they got to give a top 25 to the AP poll. You know,
interesting.
You know, I just think there's got to be a better way.
Bring back the BCS system. Bring back a computerized system that ranks these teams until the playoff committee comes out. You know, because you don't have to agree totally with the BCS system, but the BCS works better than whatever the hell these people are voting.
Yeah, but then you can't do RPI either. You can't do the FPI because ESPN has it so skewed as well. Like, we do these rankings. We'll look at the Football Power Index here. Like, USC is ranked number 5 in the Football Power Index. You want to know who they played? Missouri State, Georgia Southern, and on the road at Purdue. You telling me they're the number 5 team in the country based on their power index?
Is that all that it based off of? Was the power?
I don't know what it all based. I don't know. I think it takes into account like a bunch of metrics that I do not know.
I mean, they have Alabama sitting here at 3.
Yeah. Let me ESPN Football Power Index method. Here we go. No. Here we go. The Football Power Index is a measure of a team's strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points above or below an average a team is. Projected results are based on 20,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI. Results to date in the remaining schedule. Ratings and projections update daily FPI data from the seasons prior to 2019 may not be complete. So essentially, they just run a bunch of simulations, and that's how you get it. So they run it that's how they get it. Like they have LSU. What's LSU? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Whoops, I miscounted. 18th. They have them 18th. The Missouri Notre Dame, who's 0-2, is ahead of LSU.
So I'm looking up how they use the bowl, the BCS rankings, right? So the Harris Interactive poll, a poll of media members, the USA Today coaches poll of coaches, of course, and then computer rankings, a combination of 6 different computer ranking systems. The polls, each poll provided a percent of a team's total score. A team's point total from the poll was divided by maximum possible points for that poll to get a percentage. For the computer rankings, 6 computer rankings were used with the highest and lowest rankings for each team dropped, and the remaining 4 averaged to get the computer component. And some other factors, while the specific weight of each component varied, the formula also accounted for strength of schedule and team losses to create a final numerical score. Now, if you're telling me right now that doesn't sound better than these AP poll voters, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. Because not that I think the BCS system was perfect, right?
No,
but again,
no,
if we're taking these things until, look at the AP voters. I would rather have a computer tell me that I'm wrong, right? But a computer sure as hell is not going to have Notre Dame in the top 10.
But are you taking the computer until the CFP committee?
Yes.
But even I got to be careful what I say about the CFP committee because my AD is the head of it. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the CFP committee.
it's just fine. I just think up until the committee takes its control, right? I think relying on these other quote unquote ranked games to have actual meaning, you got to take these, narrow it down, narrow the people who can vote, or switch the system. Because when you have outliers like this, and you have enough outliers that determine a change in how somebody's team is ranked, then there's a flaw. I'd rather have an unbiased system that could be flawed in the way that it's calculated versus somebody's biased opinion to boost their team's rating. And that's my argument. Up until the playoff committee comes through, which has its own flaws as well.
Ultimately, I think people need to be better. I'm all for, like, you can have your own opinion, right? Like, yeah, you might think Texas A&M is number 5. I might think A&M is 10, right? For example. But we both agree that South Carolina should not be ranked after getting mollywopped at home. I just don't. And the one voter moved them up one.
And the
dropped
same thing with Florida the week before.
Yeah,
Moved
make
Florida up
that,
after
like,
it at home.
I just hope this outcry forces these AP voters to, like,
To make the rule change.
not either the rule change or they just got to be better. You just got to be better. Like, public embarrassment's tough, girl. Especially the Haley Sawyer chick being like, I'm not going to divulge into my processes. And it's like, but that's what we want to know.
Well, why did you agree to go on TV and talk about your...
We didn't care about anything else other than how did you get to where you were.
And if you would, I would have respected you staying behind your guts and having it in a New York Times post versus agreeing to go on TV.
Listen, if you're going to die on the Hill, I'll respect you dying on your hill. I'll tell you you're wrong, but I'll respect you dying on your hill, man. DJ, staying on the college football topic, because we can talk all day about the AP Top 25, but we had a plethora of upsets this weekend, right?
Goodness, it was so good.
Clemson and Notre Dame being the most prevalent. Is Clemson and Notre Dame seasons, as the kids would say it?
Clemson right now. Their road to get back into this playoff contention, it's there. It is set up for them. They have to win out. And even then, winning out, then you have to battle the war that goes on between teams 10 and 14 and state your argument as to why you deserve to be in the front two and not the back two. LSU losing at home, right? As long as LSU stays on track, I think you can argue that's a tough loss. It's a 7-point loss at home to what is, again, should LSU stay on track, an SEC championship runner-up, if not SEC championship winner at this point. But the loss at Georgia Tech, some of this coaching and just how bad Clemson has looked. I mean, they looked bad against Troy. I mean, they scored 27 unanswered, but being down 16 to Troy at half is what I believe it was, is not a good look for Dabo Swinney.
Yeah.
And correction, it was 13.
No, they were down 16-0 at one point, I thought.
They were. They were down 13 and a half. Their only opponent, South Carolina, they need to bank that they win out until their matchup. And then they got to hope that Florida State stays good because North Carolina hasn't proved to be anything.
I was talking.
Got to go to Boston College. And there's some matchups here that could make them look like they have some fight in them, but
I will say this. I was talking to the Green Dog podcast, Hunter Malone. And so here's the thing. His national championship pick, he said on this podcast during our ACC preview, Clemson's his national champion.
I had them in the national championship game.
Yeah, through 3 weeks, this is not that team. And now you got to go play Syracuse where they can get frisky, but I'm not too worried about it. You go to Carolina, you go to Boston College, and then you play a decent stretch of SMU, Duke, and Florida State. And then, again, you get a Louisville and a South Carolina. Like, you play your only team that you play currently ranked is Florida State. And even then, we're not sold on Florida State yet either. Just
You're
because
not sold on Florida State.
I'm not sold on Florida State. They played one Alabama team, but the ACC can cannibalize itself. Here like when Florida State plays Miami, that'll give me a better idea of what's happening.
No,
That's
for sure.
that's probably where game day will go in 2 weeks is when Florida State gets Miami at home. But like you're looking at the slate here for Clemson, and you can lose to LSU and be okay. Losing to Georgia Tech does not help you. And Miami looks unbelievable right now. They look
Yeah.
incredible. They look incredible. And to me, it looks like it's such an uphill battle, right? With the Big Ten and SEC bias, right? Like you have to fight against that. Plus, who knows what the Big 12 gives you, right?
Right.
Like, what if Baylor gets hot and goes crazy and goes nuclear? And let's say TCU is also in the same boat, right? Clemson's already has 2 losses.
Yeah.
And you can't afford to lose another. You're going to probably play Miami. And the only road for them to get in there is if Florida State sucks.
Well, they need Florida State to not suck, and they need to beat them. Because I don't think if you have an unranked schedule for the rest of the year, that I don't think this schedule cuts it.
I
You know?
I don't see a world. I mean, we thought about this last year with Clemson where they looked like they were completely out of it. And then by the grace of God, they won the ACC in a weak ACC. And they punched their ticket in. That's probably the same route that they're going to have to take. And it's week 4, and
Yes, that would be the road they have to take. But I'm not banking on that being how Florida State looks, being how Miami looks. Like, this is not the same Miami team
they don't play
that
Miami.
is, I know. I'm just saying to even get through, like, because they need to win. They need to
Yeah,
win the ACC to get in. They can't have their third loss being the ACC championship game, and then beg for mercy like Miami and Alabama did on the outside looking in. They need to win the ACC, and again, but I don't see them getting through Florida State. And even if they do, this isn't the same Miami team that could see losing at least right now on the back half of the season. Like Miami had a full blown collapse, but Miami was a roller coaster of a team last year,
they
right?
were.
With no defense, a phenomenal offense.
This Miami team looks revamped. Malachi Tony is an absolute dog. I think Clemson's road is very, very steep. It's not impossible.
No, it's
You're going to
not.
need a lot of things to break your way.
Right.
I want to talk about Notre Dame here because as an independent, it's already
Yeah,
hard
they're
enough.
rough.
Already hard enough. And you had your 2 big ranked matchups. You can live losing to Miami on the road. The committee will commend you for that, especially in a classic of that game. But then you lose at home as a touchdown favorite to A&M. And now you're looking at the schedule where your only ranked matchup would be USC. You play Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. This is not a schedule worthy enough of getting into the CFP. It's not.
No, they.
You can go 10-2, man, with your 1 ranked win, but guess what? It will not be enough. It will not be enough, man. I hate to say it. Notre Dame, your college football chances really relied in these first 2 games. At a bare minimum, you needed to go 1-1 to have a fighting chance.
They would have had a chance if they went 1-1.
They would have had a chance. And now you're looking at Notre Dame on the outside looking in, and you're like, I genuinely don't know how they get in.
I mean, I think it speaks a little bit of volumes that one, I know again, the AP crapping on them, but I think it says something that they are still ranked, right? Like
Yeah,
this Notre Dame team it is a team. They work on both sides of the ball. We saw good defense at times against Miami, right? I know the point totals don't necessarily scream that. And they have an offense that is growing too. Like CJ Carr has been a dog for that offense, having to come in and learn for the first time, like as a first time starter. So I think it says something that they're still ranked. you know, going to Arkansas, right? Arkansas is not a team that I think they need to just lay over for, right? But the point differential in these games has got to be something like we have not seen before, right? It needs to be 2014 State esque, right? Just blowing teams out of the water. And then you also need teams like Clemson to, if I were Notre Dame, I'm almost rooting for Clemson and then rooting against them in an ACC championship game. Or, yeah, you just need more than I think, unfortunately, they're going to get to happen. You just need some pieces to lose, is what it's going to. I think they could
You
get
need
down to, I
chaos.
think they could get up
You need
to that
chaos.
13-14 range. I think they can get up to that 13-14 range, but then they're sitting on a prayer.
What's the deal with Texas, man? Struggling
I don't
against
I don't know that it's what's the deal with Texas. What is the deal with Arch? What is
yeah,
up with Arch?
like struggling against UTEP. Like Arch Manning looks like he's injured. Could just be a throwing face, but he looks like he's uncomfortable in the pocket. He's inaccurate with the ball. You saw it in that Ohio State game. Now you're starting to see it against UTEP. If you're a Texas fan, you went from being the number one team in the country to, oh my God, will we survive the SEC slate? Luckily for you, you have a great defense. You have a phenomenal defense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, your first, like Archer's first SEC start. Not his first, because he did play against Mississippi State, but he played Mississippi State at home. His first true road SEC game, Florida. Have fun with that.
I mean, yeah, playing in the swamp is going to be big. If I mean, and you're talking about a down bad Florida team.
Talking about a
This
down bad Florida
defense,
team that would love to take advantage of a bad Texas team.
yeah,
I don't think Texas is passing the eye test. I mean, Arch of right now is 579 total yards, 55% completion percentage. He has 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, so a 2-to-1 ratio. He currently leads the team in rushing. I think I saw something where, he leads the team in rushing, 112 yards. Saw something about C.J. Baxter might have gotten. C.J. Baxter got injured in the first game against San Jose State. Like, Gibson has 102 yards. Like, they got a bunch of dudes with some rushing yards. Livingstone and Wingo are, like, I'm not sure Arch has been good enough. He hasn't been, obviously, but, like, you watched him. I'm pulling up his stats here from UTEP. He was 11 of 25, which is a 44% completion percentage, averaging 4 yards a pass for a total of 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, with a 26.5 QBR for a 27-17 win. Quinn Ewers would have smoked UTEP by 30.
yeah, and Quinn Ewers had his fair amount of issues. And I wonder if that says anything about maybe the offense that they're running or just the reps that they're getting. Because I mean, Quinn Ewers was supposed to be a Heisman favorite last year too, and it's just underwhelming performance. Maybe it's overhyping media wise. Maybe it's not the right quarterback for their offense.
I
Though
think
Texas did make a playoff game last year, but I mean,
I
you
think
have a
Arch
coach. Go ahead.
I think Arch's thing is that I think he wants to run first. I think Arch needs to be in a true RPO system. His first reaction has to be read option throw or read option let the running back go.
Right.
I don't think he's a pocket passer yet.
Mm.
And I think Sark's system needs someone who's a pure pocket passer with the
Right.
ability to run. Because what was Quinn Ewers deadly at? Just throwing across
Throwing
the
the
yard. Just slinging it. Arch is dynamic. He's a dual threat. He needs to run. I think they need to adjust the offense and let him start running a little bit more of an RPO system where he can read the defender, get some easy, quick throws, and then you can open him up with some easier runs, easier play actions, easier throws. Because I think you have to cheat the system for Arch right now. Yes, Arch, I'm going to keep going. Arch may be a junior, right? But that can't be the end-all, be-all. Is like, oh, well, he sat behind Quinn Ewers for 2 years. Sitting behind and starting are two completely different things.
Right.
I'm not in love with Arch's game, but I think Arch's first instinct is to want to use his legs, and he's being forced, to my eye, and what I know of what I've watched with Arch, he's being forced to go against his first instinct, which is to utilize his legs. So
Yeah, I can see where that's an issue, but at the same time, he's taking first team reps, right, the last 2 years. He knows this offense. And if I'm a Texas fan now, it's not getting better. Right? I can understand an underwhelming opening game in Columbus, and just the overwhelming
nature of it, yeah.
pressure
Yeah,
just getting to him. But then you come out again, and then you play UTEP and San Diego State, right? Like those are games where you need to see progression. You need to see progression. And I know
agreed.
like sports, Fox Sports especially, was looking for any glimpse of anything that they could use that made everyone's predictions on Arch's season to look better. It just wasn't there. He's going to be a good quarterback. He's going to be okay. I think he's going to be okay. This is I am red flags are showing here a lot. And then you had Steve Sarkisian before this UTEP game come out and yell at a reporter for the wincing that we could see to him throwing. And I'm all for backing up your quarterback, right? But when you back up your quarterback in that way, and then your quarterback comes out and has a performance like that in the same, like in the game after you yell at a reporter for the asking of a question, there needs to be an explanation to the people because, I mean, maybe there doesn't. I mean, HIPAA. But I'm just saying something like to yell at reporters for asking a question that is obviously bothering Arch, something ain't right.
I
Something's
want
not
to I
right.
want to stay I want to stay on the coaching aspect because did you see Brian Kelly go nuclear on a reporter in the LA? Dude, first
Yes.
off, Brian Kelly, I hate to break it to you, buddy. Welcome to the SEC, buddy. Welcome to the SEC. Where he where the guy was like, "Well, I want to know how the offense is." And he's like, "Stop it, man. We beat Florida." DJ, if it wasn't for a pick 6, they only scored
this
13
is a
points.
this is a
That's a
game.
3-point win with 5 turnovers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad look.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, "Well, you couldn't run the ball." And he was like, "We ran the ball in the last play of the game. You see that run?" And it's like, "Yeah, buddy, that was your only run of the game or stat padding. Like, congrats." Like I saw that and I found it hilarious that Brian Kelly, of course, is freaking out after a big major win over Florida like that.
Yeah,
Billy Napier's getting fired this year, right?
he should.
You
He
lose the
should be getting.
USF, which you should never do. Lagway looked terrible.
Yes.
And your schedule, I'll tell you what, your schedule does not get any easier.
Nope.
Gets
College
harder.
game day going to Miami. Golly, Miami Hard Rock is going to be rocking.
Hard Rock will be rocking. I mean, what man alive. This is just you get Miami, Texas, and Texas A&M in the next 3 weeks. Have fun with that.
And then Georgia at Kentucky, at Ole Miss versus Tennessee, and then Florida State.
Woo!
Uh, like that Texas
Defense.
defense. I mean, the game. I mean, there is no game here. I don't think that's going to single-handedly save his job. But we were talking about Arch Manning and how the Florida defense would love to take advantage of a hurt Arch Manning, but the Texas defense is going to fiend over a DJ Lagway who's throwing passes like he did. He might throw 7 of them suckers
Is it is
against the
it is it
Texas defense.
my question is, does DJ just look lost out there? Like he didn't look lost last year, except for that one road test that he had, which going to Tennessee on the road at night for a freshman is very tough. I'm not gonna deny you that. I'm not gonna deny you that. But isn't it like a little peculiar? Like that's the way it shakes down almost. Like, he threw some really bad balls, and I think at some point he was forcing things because they were never out of the game.
No, they were not. But it was just like it was weird having him.
Also, yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I have a side note.
It was just weird passes. Like it was strictly bad decision making. Like
Yeah.
how did, and like even in the last pick, like why are you throwing that ball across your body and across the field, right? Like,
I think that's just trying to make a play. You're just trying to make something out of
but it
nothing. But
is
that's
double cover. Like you're scrambling out and then you just turn around, throw the ball the other way.
I
That's not a
hated the one.
designed play.
I hated the deep pass that he threw into the end zone, and it was into triple coverage, and he overthrew the receiver. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, man, we're not seeing the field tonight. And LSU at night, man, I know it's tough, but you should be ready for that after the
The
season you
defense
had
was ready
last
to
year.
play. If
I
you want to
know.
tell me that the offense was going to be the
LSU looked
struggle,
bad, man. LSU offense
LSU's
looked
looked
bad.
bad. LSU looked bad the last week too.
Yeah. But
It's
thing is,
weird.
Nussmeier's a gamer, man. Nussmeier's a gamer. But quick DJ, who's your Heisman front runner right now before we jump over to the NFL?
My Heisman front runners right now. I gotta pull up my list here. I'm sorry.
Just give me your top guy, just your top guy. Number 1,
Texas A&M quarterback
Marcel Reed.
Marcel Reeves. Reed. Marcel
Reed.
Reed. Marcel Reed. 9 touchdowns, 9-1 right now, touchdown to interception ratio. Big win on the road to at Notre Dame, redeeming last year's loss. I think that he right now is just he's really kicking butt. And I mean, the dual threat ability with him too speaks volumes. He hasn't had as Le'Veon Moss has been, running all over the field for him, but I think
Craver
he's
was
doing
unreal, man.
he's
That game.
yeah, and you have a receiver like him, who's got 4 touchdowns this season already as well. Um, I just think right now where he's got this program at, and shout out to Elko, man. That dude is freaking killing it for A&M. He's got that team in a position to really do something right now in a shaky SEC.
Very shaky. For me, I got John McMahon. 944 yards so far with a 67% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 153 quarterback rating, on top of 160 yards rushing as well. Doing it with his legs, doing it with his arm. Feels like it's Baker Mayfield 2.0 in Oklahoma. Things are happening over there. As far as Mateer goes, is how far Oklahoma's going to go. As bad as we thought Oklahoma was going to be, John Mateer has resurrected them in a phenomenal way. And guess what? We're going to get a great matchup this weekend between Arnold and Mateer. A little Arnold get back game potentially, but John Mateer has a chance to prove that he's the guy in Oklahoma. So I have John Mateer as my early Heisman frontrunner right now.
I don't hate that either. He balled out against Michigan
Michigan.
a couple weeks ago in a game that we didn't get to talk about. But I mean, Oklahoma for the first time in a long time that I can remember, possibly since Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray, looks like a team again in another
Jalen
shaky
Hurts.
SC. Jalen Hurts, yeah,
It went
yeah,
Baker, Kyler, Jalen, and then it's been downhill since. Either way, I digress.
but this is a team that I think can do a lot of damage in the SEC based on what I've seen these first 3-4 weeks.
Well, yeah. I don't want to speed run through the NFL here, but I want to talk about some big important topics here, which is what the heck is going on in Chicago and Kansas City? Right?
Chicago.
I know.
Holy, I didn't even see that score. My gosh.
Yeah, dude, they got eviscerated. Dan Campbell said, "Oh, you want to leave me? Have fun coming back to Detroit and getting absolutely ran up on." I think for the Bears, Caleb Williams, I don't know if Caleb Williams was the guy. He looked good against Minnesota, but then he was missing wide open dudes in the end zone. And he's missing wide open dudes still. The defense
Yeah.
is trying its best, right? Detroit showed that they were still legit because I think Green Bay is the number one contender in the NFL right now to win the Super Bowl after adding Micah Parsons, which is fucking terrifying. Normally we don't cuss, but when you hear that Green Bay has Micah Parsons on top of Luke Van Ness, Edgerrin Cooper, and Rashawn Gary, it is nightmare fuel for an offensive lineman.
And Jordan Love in that offense looks
Yep.
good too.
Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft starting to break out. Like, where do you stop them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also frustrating because, like, Roma Dunze started to get into the mix, but, like, you drafted Luther Burden as your second round pick and you don't use him, you know?
Yeah.
You're using Zacchaeus. You're not using Loveland, and that's who you drafted with the 10th overall pick, right? Where people thought you should have drafted Tyler Warren, right? And look at the Colts. The Colts are 2-0 with Daniel Indiana Jones. Like, you called it.
Just to mention, thank you for the credit.
Yeah, don't get used to it. I just don't. I think Caleb has to figure it out. I think Caleb has to be disciplined, and I just don't know if he can in that Ben Johnson offense.
Yeah, I'm looking at the sacks here. I mean, four sacks and 29 yards lost in those 4 sacks. And sacks happen during the game, but what this 29 yards lost on 4 sacks means is he's out of the pocket. He's scrambling out, and maybe that's the initial the initial thought is to run backwards because he was able to make those plays in college like that, right? Where he could just run all around. But this is not college anymore. He needs to find a way to, one, get rid of the ball, right? And then two, the offensive line just needs to be better, point blank, period, for Chicago. And, that doesn't happen overnight. They didn't run all over this Detroit offense either. But there is a lot to say about being sacked 4 times for 29 yards. Like, that's not good for the Chicago offense.
I mean, it's bad for Chicago. The run game is non-existent, really. Unless your name's Roma Dunze, you're the only guy catching balls right now. It just feels like it's dark days in Chicago. Kansas City, though, you're in a very unfamiliar feeling. You've lost 3 straight for the first time since God knows when, since you've had Mahomes. It's your first 0-2 start with Mahomes, I think, ever. This defense is okay. The offense looks inept. Ever since they've got rid of Tyreek Hill, this offense has, year over year, has gone down in yards per run, the total yards per game, deep balls down, I mean, they have Tyquan Thornton now, who's their big deep threat now, so they kind of have that back. Also, Baylor guy, shout out. I think the league is starting to figure out Pat Mahomes. And I think Kelsey is getting older with some drop balls. And the run game isn't there either, right? They gave up on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right? Pacheco isn't getting anywhere in the run game. The offensive line continues to be a struggle. And you look at the Eagles, and the Eagles just kind of had their way with them on the ground because they didn't really need to throw. So I don't know what's going on in Kansas City. I mean, you just assume Pat Mahomes will figure it out. But I was listening to the Ryan Russillo show, and he talked about a pretty interesting point of, like, it's crazy to think how, like, we thought Brady, like, ran the league, but Brady went through, like, almost a decade-plus break before going back and, like, really dominating the AFC again, right?
Right.
And the league. I think that's what's happening here. I think if you're Pat Mahomes, you're kind of, like, frustrated. But he also didn't have Xavier Worthy, and he also didn't have Rashee Rice, his 2 top guys. So I'm not worried in Kansas City, but I'm not feeling super stoked. I think it's a little uncomfortable right now because the Chargers started off now 2-0. Chargers look good. You have the Broncos knocking on your door potentially, right? So, like, you're not feeling a little comfortable, but I am perplexed what's happening over in Kansas City right now.
Yeah, I think a big, shift here in Kansas City is the age gap between the people who were there when they won their first Super Bowl and some of the players that they're still carrying over now. Because this team, I feel like, is a mix of veterans and then also guys that are really young. And what Kansas City was able to do, even through their last Super Bowl run and even getting into the Super Bowl last year, was doing the basics at the highest level, right? That they just killed you with their simplicity. I think looking at some of the stat sheets here, I mean, obviously Kelsey dropping passes is helping nobody, especially Patrick Mahomes. But he missed on 13 targets. I mean, maybe 11 targets if you include the drops, or if you don't want to include the drops. But it seems like they're just struggling to get the basics right. Like the Kelsey, I'm gonna bring him back in. Like those passes, those are basic passes: catch, run. Tight end slips, little drag routes. Like Kelsey's got to catch those in order for this offense to run. And so when the simple things aren't working, the Kansas City MO is just gone. It's just non-existent anymore. And moving forward here for Kansas City, I mean, they've got the New York Giants coming up this week, right? They got to go to New York. And I'm not saying New York is like all that, but in their first 2 weeks, they have put up some numbers, right? Russell Wilson looks good. And if this defense for Kansas City is struggling, like Russell Wilson just put up 450 yards against the Cowboys defense. Insane. And so let's just say they lose that game and then they go to the Ravens or they host the Ravens. Then they got to go to Jacksonville. And then they play Detroit. And then it's the Raiders. And then it's the Commanders. And then it's at Buffalo and at the Broncos.
It's a tough
And
slate, man.
this team could really go south real quick. And this next week in New York, New Jersey, it's a must win for Kansas City. And my alarm bells are sounding.
I mean, you're looking at it here, and you're looking at what? 2 wins? Maybe you get lucky and get a third. Actually, you're probably looking at 3 wins, maybe a fourth. But you could also drop a game to Jacksonville. You could drop a game to New York. You could drop a game to Vegas, right? And then you get the Ravens, Commanders, Lions, Bills, Broncos. Colts look legit. Like, you're looking at a losing record halfway through the season, and that's not exactly where you want to be for Kansas City for what the aspirations you hope your franchise has. DJ, Let's wrap up the show here with some final thoughts here. Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy, I'm not giving up on the experiment yet because we don't have a left tackle. The left tackle is terrible. J.J. has no time to throw. Things are not great in Minnesota, but things could be worse. That's how I choose to look at it. We also don't have Jordan Addison. That's a big wide receiver 2 for us because he'll take pressure off of Jefferson because Addison is so good as well.
Right.
So I'm not worried there, but hey, it's only week 2. That's what I keep reminding myself, DJ. Any final thoughts?
I think that watching J.J. McCarthy go in his first NFL game, again, that we didn't get to cover 2 weeks ago, was the most mind-numbing thing I have had to watch. It was just like watching him in that lackluster Michigan offense that was...
Try living it.
I had to watch him win a national title with that basic-ass offense where it was...
But Kevin O'Connell doesn't run a basic offense, bro.
But that's what you liked with JJ. You didn't get JJ to be Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, right? He's not a deep ball threat, right? Which low-key makes it seem useless with Justin Jefferson there. But to win games like he did in week 1 against the Bears, that's what you paid for. That's what you drafted so high for, was to be able to run the ball with that offensive line that you raved about all offseason, mind you, and being able to run the ball and get him in that play action pass to hopefully be able to do something offensively. I was high on the Falcons, right? I'm high on the Falcons defense. I really like the Falcons offense.
Dude, first off, can I say this with the Falcons offense? Stop giving the ball to Tyler Algier. Give it to Bijan 100 times, bro. I want to see Bijan.
Sounds like you have Bijan on your fantasy team.
Maybe I do. So what? I'm tired of Tyler Algier anyways. From a pure viewing standpoint, Bijan is also just so electric. So
He
electric.
is. He is a lot better, but um, you're not going to get anywhere with JJ or really that Minnesota offense to me if you can't run the ball, and that was something that you were not able to do against the Falcons. So, I mean, I wouldn't be out on JJ McCarthy either. Um, 11 to 21, 2 interceptions. That's not a good sign, and it's not
Not
like
good
he
enough.
thrived in his win against Chicago either.
He
He was
sucked for
just,
3 quarters.
yeah.
He sucked for 3 quarters.
So,
And he's
yeah,
been bad, and he's been bad for 7. Either way, a lot of season left. A lot of season left.
hang that hat on that. Hang your hat on that.
That's how I view it. Well, sorry we didn't get to as much NFL talk as we probably would have liked, but there's so much college football discussion needing to be have, we gotta have it. He has been the DJ Money McCatherine. I have been Jacob Prale. We have been to deal with D and J. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all platforms.